Yeah.
And that's it. We're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 57 of Authentic Hustle. Holy shit, guys. 57 episodes. I honestly can't believe it. It's like blown my mind. And the fact that we've only actually missed one episode at Christmas time. So we're doing pretty darn good at this thing so far. People are listening. The show is growing. I saw we're closing in on our 100th subscriber on YouTube. So if you're listening to this, subscribe to us on YouTube. Appreciate it. My gosh, yeah, it's been a journey, and it's been a long journey, which I think is maybe a fun little twist into what I think might be a great topic to talk about today, which is the length of time things take. But before we do that, I want to shift on over to my co-host, Vijayan Swaminathan, who has an incredible announcement for his show, Pathfinders. Vijay, go ahead.
So we started a show in April 2024, Pathfinders. And before I say a word or anything like that, a huge inspiration for the show was the man himself, the podfather, Kelly Kennedy, who is right here. So I'm always a listener. I've always listened to great podcasts, but man, you were the one to inspire to even to get started on this journey. So first, kudos to you and for inspiring people to even get started on this lane, right? So thank you for that. Huge thank you for that. I have thanked you enough. But today I have something interesting to share. It's about like with $0 ad spend, we never spent anything on ads. We've just crossed 100,000 views on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot harder than it sounds, people. Believe me.
I was just trying to put together a view of like what does 100,000 people actually look like in real life. If you are to pack them in a stadium or in a conference room or what, it's like a lot of people actually. So a lot of
you must have an image of it. You could find an image of 100,000 people.
100,000 people.
I'm pretty sure that Rogers Place in Edmonton holds 60,000.
There you go.
So that might be a great little a full packed stadium.
So VJ, if you can pull up Dallas Cowboys,
Dallas Cowboys,
104,000, I think, including
there you go.
Pull that up and see if you have a picture of a sold out. It's always sold out, right? Cowboys Stadium. Yeah. Only reason I know that I did a tour there and I remember really wonky numbers. And I think it was just over 100,000.
Oh, wow. I was way off, guys. Like way off.
Rogers is what, 20,000?
20,000. Yeah, 20,000. Holy cow. Okay. I'm broken.
So there you are.
That's what 100,000 people look like in real life. Yeah, huge thank you.
Wow.
For every single person. So if we were worth any views, so thank you so much. This is great. I mean, I have to visit the stadium now. This is incredible.
That is pretty incredible. Wow.
It's quite the tour. And so if you think about it, VJ, just look at all those people, and kudos to you that, you know what, every one of those persons, people,
all those peoples out there,
have downloaded, right? If you just think about it that way, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Yeah.
So now if you can do it, the Dallas Stadium didn't charge $300 for every one of those downloads. You're in the money.
Not there yet, but yeah, so grateful for this.
There you go.
It will be by next year.
It will be. So
for sure.
All right. Well, well done, VJ.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. Good for you. Congratulations. It's a lot of work growing a show. I don't think like people recognize how hard it is. I think people think like you put a show on YouTube and like 100,000 people listen. It's just, that's not how it works. Yeah, that's not how it works. It's doing a podcast or any kind of show, a YouTube channel. It is a long game, a long battle, and not a battle just against everyone else for content, but against yourself. Because showing up every single week, doing one show, two shows, even every couple of weeks, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of unexpected things that happen. There's a lot of costs that you incur that you don't even consider in the beginning. I was literally just looking at our costs for the show this morning, being like, holy crap, like we have way too many subscriptions, but I need them all.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. And so shout out to the content creators out there. Shout out to my co-hosts. Thanks for showing up. It really is a long game. It takes longer than you think, but it's the showing up consistently that makes it worthwhile. And I would say, like we're just starting to get into a cadence with Authentic Hustle where we're starting to get some interest in the show. Guys, like we're showing up, we're closing in on 60 episodes. That's what it took. That's how long it takes. It takes like 100 episodes to get traction in anything. And so, shout out to content creators everywhere. It's a lot of work. It's not always the most rewarding of jobs. I think a lot of people think, oh, well, you're content creators. You must be getting a ton of attention. It's like, no. I think a lot of times we're lucky to get a message every couple of weeks saying, hey, I saw your show and it was pretty good. Thanks for doing that, right? And that's what we live off of is those trickles of people saying, hey, we saw that. Thanks for doing it. And they are few and far between. I think I saw a statistic once showing that only like 1%, if that, of your listeners ever reach out to you in any capacity at all. It's it's an uphill battle for sure.
Do you know what? That's a great stat. And I think it's a great learning point because often people will ask me, well, how do you know that person? Or how did you meet? And Kelly, that's no different than you or VJ, right? I'm not saying I do that all the time, but I have. And had it not been for that, we would not be here today. I wouldn't be here. You guys might be. I wouldn't be here today with you guys because, you took the leap. I took the leap to reach out. And I find more times than not, I'll give you a real life example. Another one, this is a weird story. So just through my properties and whatnot, over time, I was looking for a new plumber. Somebody referred me and I won't say the name of what the company is. So vicariously, I hire them and they charge me a lot of money every single time. I'm like, wow. But the plumber, the tech on the other end meets me on site and he has an iPad and a DocuSign. And he says, here it is, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, I could just seal the deal right here. I hit pay and done. And I get this crazy bill.
Yeah.
And then I pay it. And then I talk about, wow, that was a lot of money. Those guys make a lot, but they do the job. They're fantastic. They're in uniform. They have a matching van. So a couple of years go by. And I remember it was a Christmas Eve. I had a horrible situation happen at one of my properties. Anyway, it cost me about $7,700. They said, we can get it done over the holidays. We'll do it. I'm like, yeah. So I I pay on the iPad and I'm like, wow, like this is amazing. These guys just charge so much and I keep paying it. So one day I'm like, who owns this company? So I'll just say the guy's name is Mitch, the tech. I'm like, Mitch, who owns it? So he gives me his name. And I said, like, does he live here in town? Yeah. I'm going to phone there. So I phone him and I said, hey, I'd like to come see you. So he's probably like, oh, something's wrong.
Yeah.
So I go and I'm like, hey, I'm just a customer. And he goes, yeah, I know. And I said, man, like, I just got to tell you as a business guy, like, you bill the shit out of me. And I said, I like paying it. I said, because you guys do the job. I go, and so we get into it and we hit it off. And that was probably a year ago. So fast forward a year, because of that conversation, I was never mad at him. I was just mesmerized. Like, holy, like, how do you get my wallet? Like, you just take my wallet, you open it, and you just take out whatever you want every time. And I'm happy. I'm like, oh, have a good day.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I've now successfully sold his mom's acreage for a lot of money, like well over $1 million. I just wrote an offer for him and I'm just a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
And you know what? I wasn't trying to find a friend. I wasn't trying to find a client. I was actually just trying to hone in on his business skills because I think they're so good. But because of that, now I've actually kind of become friends with them. And now he's a client of mine.
Yeah.
Right. So the same thing is taking that leap or whatever it is in business or committing, right? It's a little bit of commitment. You got to commit to go do something. And I did it. And now in the end, he's a great client of mine. And now I'm going to get some money back, I guess.
Now it's your turn to hose him.
But you know what? He's not paying it. He's not paying it. He's the buyer.
You're like, I'm going to get my chance. Damn it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Anyway, so that's my story for the day. I'd love to give you his name and the company name, but I'll save that for another show.
We'll leave it off of this one. No, that's funny. Yeah, it's I do have to give you kudos, Colin. Like, you do go out of your way to make connections with people. It's funny though, because actually both of our connections, VJ too, both came from the show, right? This wouldn't have really happened, I don't think, without me starting the BDP, which is interesting.
That's right.
It's led to both of these relationships, which have become very important in my life. And you'll be surprised, I think, at what comes your way when you're willing to put yourself out there. When I look at the business development podcast, the best thing the show has given me is not revenue, not just a platform, but incredible relationships across North America that I would have just never had the chance to meet these people. Really, if you look at what a show does for you, that's what it does.
Yeah, for sure. It's the
It connects
content,
you.
right? Well, VJ,
Connects you.
how many shows have you done, VJ?
I don't know, probably a couple.
At least
More than
two.
two.
But I want to speak to your point, like what you shared, Colin, in terms of like you saw something happening, a great guy doing something interesting, you reached out, you took action. With you, Kelly, I mean, like when you launched BDP and you're thinking about it, you took action. So I saw this post like a few weeks ago and it caught my attention and I kept it. So it says fact, actually. It goes by fast action changes things. So you spoke about the Kelly, only 1% of the viewers actually take some action to even subscribe or even like it.
Yeah.
So your life changes when you start actually taking action. So I think we all sitting here, we took some action, some part of our life actually, which is what changed the overall course of things. If you want to see something happen, I think you have to take action. I think that's what it is. Without action, nothing happens. I mean, if you didn't start the show a year ago, no episodes, nothing, right?
Yeah.
So we could have still had our phone conversation, but like here we have 60 episodes, 57, going to be 60. So yeah, taking action is a lesson learned, I guess. So yeah.
Well, and I think maybe it's important to state that like we don't have all of the answers, right? Like when we started this show, we didn't really know what it was going to be. We were trying different things. And we tried so many different things. Like this show has changed so much from episode 1 to today. It's gotten better, way better. But you only learn by doing. You only learn what's better by putting yourself through all of the iterations that get you to this. And one day we'll look back at this moment and be like, oh man, like we didn't know what we were doing yet. Like the iteration 50 of this show might be completely different than what we're doing.
Yeah.
But every year we're at this, we're getting better at it. And the only way that we learn is by showing up.
Do you think part of that is years ago there was the movie called Yes Man? I think it was Jim Carrey.
I love that movie.
Right. And I've kind of vicariously tried to live that way. Right.
Yeah.
And I know Richard Branson had always said too, if you say yes, right, you'll get yourself in these situations you may not want to be in, but the result could be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I do live that way, right? I say yes a lot. Like, you know what? Let me put that into context. I say no to things that I know that I don't want to do anymore, or they're not going to be fruitful for me. But if it's exciting and out there, I probably will say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up in situations, right? Kind of like that movie, like yes, yes, yes. And I remember, for context, if somebody wants to know, Richard Branson, I think he was in San Francisco, and I don't even know what they call it, where they sail, like those sailboats, like the speed racing sailboats.
Yeah.
And they were going by and he had sponsored something. And then somebody said to him, are you the guy that makes the t-shirts and blah, blah, blah? And he's like, yes. And they're like, you are? He's like, yes. And then he's like, in his head, he's saying no. And then he's like, how do we do this? Right.
Yeah.
And then anyway, however it worked, the story worked itself out. And he ended up being the major sponsor through this because he said yes. Had he never said yes, he wouldn't have done that. And then I don't know if I told you the story on Paul Brandt, the country singer, vicariously through a friend of mine. He sang at my friend's wedding. And then I had my I Did company, which didn't really do anything. We made some t-shirts. Anyway, so Paul Brandt asked, can you guys do my videography and everything at the Calgary Stampede? He was headlining the Stampede concert. And he said at the Saddledome, I want to have live tweets and stuff on the Jumbotron. And I said, yes. And knowing that I should have said no. But I said yes. And so then he's like, okay, great. This is the date. This is when you'll do it. You need to be there at this time and we'll just be ready. So I left there and I said to the guy, Michael, what's his name? I said, I don't know what I just said yes to. And he says, well, we're going to have to figure it out. And so A few short weeks later, I have pictures I can send you. We were on stage at the Stampede behind the curtain with Paul Brandt, and stuff was getting live tweets going up on the screen, and we were managing that system. And I still have no idea how we made it happen. And I do remember back there, he said, do you have a credit card? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, can I borrow it? He said, because the Saddle Dome or whatever runs a separate Wi-Fi system, and we have to pay for Wi-Fi, and I don't have a credit card. I'm here to sing.
Oh, wow.
So to this day, he says, I'll pay you back. And I'm like, well, how much is this going to be?
Yeah.
And it was like a couple $100. But forever, I kept that receipt that says Brandt T Records on it. And it was for the Wi-Fi. But cool, met him, gave us some really cool stuff. He ended up doing a photo shoot for my company for I Did. But just cool because we said yes. Right. And that led to my same company there having the New Kids on the Block wear my caps on stage on their encore.
That's pretty cool.
And people said, but I didn't make any money. Let's just be clear here. I made no money. It's just bragging rights.
It's a cool life experience.
But when you learn to say yes, cool things can happen.
Yeah.
And they do happen.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, it's not just saying yes, though. It's acting on the yes,
True.
Right?
It's commitment.
And I think maybe that's the important thing is that like a lot of people will say yes to things without really like taking action on the yes. It's like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then it never happens,
True.
right? Like a New Year's resolution or whatever else. Yes. It's not the yes. It's the first action you take. And you know, it's super funny. We can lead this into, obviously, I have a new show coming out. I used to work there. If you're hearing this live, it will be out next week. I'm making that commitment. I'm getting the first episode out next week. I'm excited for it. It's going to be awesome. The stories we have are crazy. Let me just start there. They are so much fun. Some are funny, some are scary, some are just wild. I'm really, really excited about this show, guys. I don't know what to tell. But when me and Shelby first kind of came around to this idea, we were on a date night driving to Edmonton, and we just had gotten talking, and the idea of, well, what if we had a show where people could call in and talk about the crazy things that happened to them at work? And in my mind, I'm thinking, this is amazing. The moment I had literally that night, guys, I thought about it. I was like, what could the name be? Oh, I used to work there. Is that domain available? I bought the domain that night. Literally, like we were driving to the date night place. When we got there, I bought the domain in the parking lot because what I've realized is you have to act, and you have to act quickly because if you don't act, the whole thing can peter out. In my optimistic brain, I'm thinking, I know how to do shows. I could have this whole thing up and ready in a month. We could have our first episode out in January. It'll be exciting and crazy. I think I remember talking to you, Colin, like that next week being like, I think I can get this out in a month. That was in December. Yeah. It is still not out and we are in March. So everything along the way, even though I know how to get a show out, it didn't go to plan. In my mind, I could get the music for this show quickly. The music took 3 months. In my mind, I can get all of the show submissions. The submissions simply to make 3 shows took 3 months. The forum has been reiterated like 6 times to get it to a point where it makes sense for the show and the people submitting it. And I'm still not done with that intake process. It's going to get refined and even better. But right now, that's where we're at. And so everything, even when you know how, takes longer than you expect because there's so many uncontrolled variables, even when you know what you're doing. However, taking action matters. And like Colin had said before the show, well, had you not taken quick action, it might not have taken 4 or 5 months. It might have taken 12.
Yeah.
So even though I, in my head, thought I'm going to do this in a month, it took 4 or 5. I think we're closing in on 5. It could have taken 12 or just been a no-go altogether.
I think part of it too is setting our expectations, right? And being okay when we don't hit them, right? Not being too hard, but knowing that if we don't continue going, right? Like even this show, Authentic, the way we started and everybody involved, things changed rapidly, right? But at the same time, it wasn't that rapid when we were going through it, right? Or VJ, you know the story, right? You were involved in certain things. and they didn't go the way you had planned, but not getting down on that expectation, right? We have an expectation, and when it doesn't happen, you know what? A very, very good mentor of mine over time, he was in the insurance business. And so, large commercial insurance, and he would lose people. And I would just say, hey, like, how's your day? Just lost this giant client or whatever. And I'm like, oof. And he'd go, next.
Yeah.
And he always said that. He's like, you know what? And then he would start texting me, and he's 71 now. And he would always just hashtag next, right? This blank text. And I go, oh, he lost something or something didn't go his way. Next. Now I do it to quite a few people, right? I'm just like, next, like, what am I going to do? Sit here and rehash it, or, you know what? So my expectation was one thing. This is what happened. Guess what? I can't change it. Nothing's going to change. I mean, if there's something that I need to work on or I can change, even just moving forward, I know what not to do. But what am I going to do? Go sit there and suck my thumb in the corner and be sad that something didn't happen, or it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, or, I see something and I'm like, oh, I thought I was getting that customer, right? No, I guess I didn't. So guess what? Next.
Yeah.
Right. And then the worst thing you can do is beat yourself down because of it. And even worse than that is beat that customer down that you didn't get. Right. So
I think the whole part of like, it is worth it. Absolutely worth it. Because I have not made millions of dollars from Pathfinders. You all know it. No, just like 999,000. But I didn't.
Not yet. Never say never.
Never say never. Not yet. But I think what was really worth it is, I mean, it takes a lot of time, production, and everything. Kelly, you know it. Colin, you know it. But what is actually worth it is the learnings that comes out of all these actions. So when we started Authentic Hustle, we didn't know how the show was going to go. Yeah. So when I started Pathfinders, I had no idea how it was going to go. When we started Jadwood, it's the same thing. So every single time we go and try something out, you learn a lot of things. And some things work, something doesn't work. You still fail. I always say that failure is probably the best teacher. Mm-hmm. So when something doesn't work out the way you intended, but all that learning stays with you. All right?
Yes.
Everything is not, if it is measured against a checking account, then you cannot actually do anything. Right? So you got to still keep doing and keep moving forward next. Keep moving forward. But at the same time, keep those learning, keep accumulating those learnings over time. That will reap interest actually. So the compound interest are coming from all that learnings. That will be massive, and it is going to be absolutely worth it for anyone. So I just want to share that.
Yeah, you know what? I'll do a little book report. Anybody looking for a great book in regards to what VJ just said is John Maxwell. It's called Failing Forward. Right. Very, very good book. And one of the principles that I hope I live by too is every time you fail, you just move forward.
Yeah.
Right? You only lose if you keep setting yourself back and keep living in the past. So fail forward. Right.
Well, and to that point, you only really lose things in life typically when you truly quit. Right? Like a failure is not the end. It's a lesson on what not to do moving forward. Right? So a lot of people will say, I failed. Did they fail or did they quit? I think they're two very different things. I don't think you truly fail until the day that you truly quit, where you choose, I'm no longer moving forward. Because a failure on its own is not the end. It can be a lesson and a speed bump on the way to success.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
100%.
And I mean, again, I also want to shout out that like just because you quit something also doesn't make you a failure. There are certain times where maybe quitting is still the best option forward. But I hate it when people say, I fail. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think anybody ever really fails. I think they make they might make a choice to quit. And there are things in your life you are going to need to quit. So that is not a failure necessarily. But to say I failed, I would argue that unless you failed catastrophically, made a choice to quit, and never pursued anything on that path ever again, you probably haven't failed. You probably learned a lesson that you can apply to other things in your life. I don't think there's a lot of true failure in the world. I don't.
You know, I like what you said, Kelly, because part of it is recognizing when to quit or when to stop. That's a win. That's not a
yes. Right? Knowing when to quit something that's truly not working for you or serving you is a win.
Yeah, because at the end of that day, I guarantee, I don't care who it is, when they've made that decision and they know why they've made it, they always feel better.
Yeah.
Right? They're not living in regret. They're not living in the past. They're moving forward. They're next, right? It's next. What's next? And I think that's a good feeling because it took me a long time personally to maybe let go of some things, right? Because thinking of the what if, and you don't want to live that way, but what if it doesn't, knowing that it doesn't, right? There's no future there. Just get out of it, right? Like, why are you sitting there hoping? And it's kind of like the Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. I don't know how much of it's true, but when they're like, so sir, how much money have you invested in this? $199,000, and I borrowed every penny from all my relatives and everybody else. Okay. And how many years you've been trying to make this widget? 21. Stop. Right? Like, just stop. Don't continue on. Right? I think if we're in that position and we haven't recognized when something's not a win or something's not fruitful for you, it's just not positive, like, move on. Right? Like,
and I think you also have to understand what the difference is between evolution, right? Like, the reality is, if I did business development today, the exact same way I did 15 years ago, I would fail.
Right.
Because the system has changed. The things people are receptive to have changed. The processes have changed. And so I would be considered a failure if I did it the same way I did 15 years ago.
True.
But no, I changed. And just because I still do business development and I do it in a different way, I'm successful now because I adapted. But it took that evolution, right? It wasn't a failure to stop doing the things that no longer worked. Well, right. It was a level up.
Yeah,
it was a level up. Yeah. So we have to consider that too, that like there are going to be things you're doing today, right now in your organizations, in your business, that one day if you continue to do that, will make you fail. You have to consider what's next. How do I evolve? How do I move this thing forward? And I don't think it's ever been more important than it is today. Like, look at how fast technology is advancing in nearly every sector around the world. If you are not reevaluating the tools you are using every 6 months, you are going to fall behind.
I mean, one of the guests on the show, Giselle Denny, was a great Canadian artist, and we spoke about art, creativity, and life, and so many other things. And something to what he just spoke about, Colin, in terms of the what ifs. She said, like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What has happened? I mean, she really said that, I think every human being, in a way, they kind of know what they want to do, what they don't want. They don't trust their gut enough. So one thing that she says that the what ifs are actually killing us, and rather pay attention to what your gut says and trust your gut. That's what she said. I think that means a lot. Everyone kind of knows actually where the compass is. When we start paying attention, kind of gently whispers in your soul, in your heart, like in your ears, like just pay attention to it, trust your gut. I think it's going to go a long way. And the what ifs will not take us anywhere. They're just killing us. So,
yeah. My roundup of today is, number one is committing to commit to something, right? You have to make a commitment to the commitment.
Love it.
That's the way I look at it. And knowing when to walk away. So it's kind of, we started here. We evolved, Kelly. We evolved up from here to what's next.
Yes. And, for my closeout, I think what I'll say is, if you say yes to something, take immediate action. Even if it's a really small action, like I said, like I bought a domain. That domain was enough investment, mental investment, personal investment, to continue to move forward down that path. And the one thing that I've always found, no matter what I take on, podcast, business, you name it, one step always reveals the next. So even if you don't know what you're doing, that's fine. I don't know what I'm doing half the time.
Yeah.
But I know that if I take action in a direction, every action I take will reveal the next logical action to take.
Right.
And so you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to start the journey. And if you start the journey, eventually you'll be throwing that ring into Mordor.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. VJ, you want to round it up?
All right, everyone. This concludes Authentic Hustle Show 57. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah, stay awesome. Bye now.
Later, hustlers.
Later.